Recently I went on Yelp, and I noticed some reviews for the Bewitched statue in Salem, Massachusetts. I thought this was kind of funny. After all, it's not like it's a restaurant or a hotel. What is there really to say? Well, it turns out there's a debate on whether or not this was a respectful decision in a city infamous for executing 19 innocent people. So I thought I'd drop by, visit the statue, and give it my own review. But before we dig deep into the debate, let's go back to the very beginning. In 2005, TV Land built a 9-foot bronze statue of Samantha Stevens from the show Bewitched. It was a ceremony that brought out the surviving members of the cast, like Erin Murphy, who played Tabitha Stevens, and Bernard Fox, who was Dr. Bombay. The cable channel has constructed other sitcom tributes, like the Ralph Crandon statue in Manhattan and the Andy Griffith one in Raleigh, North Carolina, both of which are at least located in the actual states the respective shows were set in. Bewitched, on the other hand, was referenced as being set in either Westport, Connecticut, or somewhere within New York State. Regardless, TV Land executives defended the decision, explaining they celebrate America's favorite TV characters in places where there is a connection to them. That connection comes from 1970, when the cast and crew of Bewitched flew into Salem to film episodes of the show. Pickup shots were used all over the city, as well as the House of Seven Gables with the actors on location. That same year, October 7th, was declared Bewitched Day, and it paid off, helping in the ratings and also expanding the idea of witch-related tourism. The show would be brought back to Salem 35 years later, in a move that was met with criticism by some local residents. It was compared to erecting a statue of Colonel Klink from Hogan's Heroes in the middle of a concentration camp, like Auschwitz. As dramatic as this may seem, they might not be that far off. When you're thinking about a campy show like Bewitched, you should be having fun thoughts like which dick was the better Darren. A place where 19 innocent people were brutally executed in one of the worst cases of mass hysteria ever may not be the best location to reflect on something so lighthearted. Maybe some have lost sight over the 3 centuries that have passed, but it's safe to say most wouldn't want their death, or their family members, to be trivialized into a gimmick to help promote tourism after any length of time. It's tough to argue that. It should probably be located in Westport, Connecticut, based on the simple fact that it just makes more sense in keeping with the history of the show. With that said, Salem has seemed to become a place for all things witch, and certainly has made its way into the pop culture. That's ultimately what this statue represents on a larger scale. The 90s continued the theme of campy witchcraft and Salem's use in Hollywood. It's tough not to embrace this aspect, especially if it helps promote tourism in the local economy. TV Land also helped to make it an easy decision by putting up the $75,000 for the statue and also agreeing to pay for the upkeep. 8 years later, all we can really hope is that the tourists that visit will want to experience the real Salem history, which is grounded in producing amazing historical architecture, literature, and residents. I think both sides can be beneficial to each other as long as there's more emphasis placed on historic preservation. Otherwise, we may not be that far off from the Hocus Pocus statues. Either way, there it stands in a downtown park at the corner of Essex and Washington Street. Samantha is depicted riding a broom across a crescent moon with a cloud underneath her. It's a curiosity piece, and people seem to enjoy it. Every time I've ever walked by, I always see people stopping, taking a picture, and reading the inscription on the ground. Elizabeth Montgomery is Samantha Stevens. Hair of gold, eyes that twinkle, a nose that neatly twitched. Clever, charming, and enchanting, Samantha left us all bewitched.